I've just been watching a conversation between Chris Williamson and Ali Abdaal on Chris's Modern Wisdom podcast. If you haven't seen that, it's really worth checking out. I'll put the link to it down below. But they're just talking about this really interesting concept that I wanted to share really briefly. I found it really helpful, and I'm definitely going to be applying it to my life, and just thought I'd share it on here, see if it's useful for anyone else. They're really talking about how work by default is often really, really hard. One of the ways that we can make work easier is by making it feel a little bit more like play. And Ali was talking about this study that was really just comparing the state of play to that flow state that we talk about, where you're really in the zone and things just kind of work. You're churning out stuff, you're being really productive, getting loads done. Flow state and play are really similar. And he was saying that the kind of marker of that state, that sort of play state and flow state, is when you're fully engaged in something, but the stakes feel quite low. Which, as soon as I heard that, I thought, well, that's really interesting, because most of the time I'm either not that engaged and the stakes are low, or I'm really engaged but the stakes feel quite high. And he was talking about how when the stakes are quite high, that's what can often lead to burnout, procrastination. It's really similar to what I was talking about in the last video, that often when we feel like we have to get something right, we can just put it off and put it off and put it off and never get anything done. I definitely feel that all the time. So he was talking about how most of us need to try and find a way to bring down the stakes a little bit, not convincing ourselves that stuff doesn't matter, but just allowing us to treat it a little bit more like we're playing with something, because that automatically, apparently, makes things way easier. I haven't tried this yet. This is something I'm going to be applying quite a lot from the new year, but I want to share it with you, and I'll update whether or not it seemed to work. In terms of actually practically doing this, they were just talking in this conversation about how really a lot of it is mindset stuff, and it's how we view what we're doing. And so for me, so much of the time, I'm viewing a task I have to do or a particular project I'm working on as this big thing I have to do and I have to get right. Really, the very slight but quite dramatic mindset shift is just to start viewing this as a little bit more of an adventure, a little bit more of this is something I'm having fun with, this is something I'm playing with. And it takes away that pressure. It lowers those stakes a little bit, but it's not about not caring. So it's not that you aren't bothered anymore. You still stay really engaged. Like if you're playing a game, you're still really engaged, but you're not taking it really, really seriously. And apparently from the research that has been done, that allows our brain to slip into that flow state, slip into that play state a little bit more, where things just feel slightly less pressurized, and hopefully then allows us to be more creative. So something I'm going to be working on, something I'm going to be trying, but I just thought I'd share it and see if this is interesting, helpful for anyone else. I'll put the whole conversation down in the description so you can watch it if you want to see more. But otherwise, I hope you have a good Christmas, good New Year, and I'll be back again soon with another video.